All right, so as we begin our public portion of our meeting, we will say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we'll start with our June action items, which I'm taking from the minutes. Yvette was to post the notice of the Board of Trustees open position, which she obviously did. Yvette will contact tree vendors regarding removal, including quotes. Anything for us on that? Okay. Yvette will send salary lists to all trustees, which she did. Yvette will reach out to mechanical contractors.
In the middle of that.
Okay. Yvette and Janet will connect on Square. And Janet and Deb will meet on salary restructure, which we did, and we can fill you in when we get to the financial committee. And all trustees will send any sub goals to Ruth Marie and Molly. I know, Janet, you sent some things.
I did.
So, okay. All right. Was there anything else? Okay. Moving through our old business strategic plan. Yvette, have you heard anything from Deb Hoadley? I did email her and I haven't heard back.
Oh, I haven't.
Okay. I will keep you all in the loop. When I hear from her, I'll let you know what's happening. So, building maintenance project list and CIP. Yvette, would you like to talk about the, well, we'll look at the building project list, but then the CIP also, because you sent us a letter.
Okay, I don't know if you have any questions about anything on the building project maintenance list. I had included 2 pieces of information about either a lighting project or shelf moving project to address the dark corners in the main on the main floor in the adult collection. We're still investigating that project. Thinking it's going to be a while.
So those quotes are just for our information, but you haven't decided which way you want to proceed yet.
No, not
so
at all.
okay.
No.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. I have not heard from the vendor about purchasing a chiller, so I'm going to go straight to the RFP and just give Kelly some information about, advise us on removing it, purchasing, installing, and just put it out there.
Okay.
Because
yeah, it's time. You've given them an
It's
opportunity.
time.
We
I
need
have.
to get some bids on
I
that.
have.
Okay.
The retro commissioning report, the one piece about replacing actuators, I had included a quote from FW Webb. This is for about 12 actuators. The quote is $325 each. Shipping per item might be less, but we're looking at something like $360 per actuator with 12 actuators and $4,400, and Jared can do this work.
Okay. So you need a motion from us to spend the money to do that. So questions for Yvette.
Sure.
So he's comfortable doing this work. He knows how to do this work. You're comfortable with him doing this work.
And this quote is 1,
Yes.
and we need what?
12.
12.
Do you know what is needed to this? Is it like nuts and bolts, or is there like soldering?
I have no idea what this thing
I'm
is.
just curious.
I just said, can you do it? And he said yes. So I didn't ask him about that part.
So other than having Jared do it, we would have to have a contractor come in and pay their labor to do that. All right, questions for Yvette, thoughts?
This is these are the actuators, and then there's another part, like
Right.
That's
I
the valves. Or
Yeah, I
something.
split those up.
Right.
The faulty valves, that I still need to contact a mechanic about that. And then the piece about installing an energy recovery ventilator. We also need more information about it.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the two other things. The
Mhm.
filters are also being taken care of. So, yeah. And then the chiller.
How will we know if they work?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, I guess, I mean, we can do the work and we could have the retro commissioning agent come back and see if they go through and just test the things and see if they're working. I mean, all of this considered, if we purchase this, we do the valves, Jared installs it, and even having the retro commissioning person come back, we are still significantly cheaper than replacing the entire HVAC by addressing these things. You know, we're still doing, it's still significantly cheaper, and hopefully we'll take care of a lot of the problems, especially once we get the chiller in there. So, any other questions for Yvette? Okay, Yvette, do you have a plan for where this money would come from? Is there
I have not had a minute to think about that. No, I'd have to look at the just the budget line, I guess. So, I mean, we have money. It's the beginning of the fiscal year. I think we have, the Denron PO, which was for the chiller.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that could be changed. We can chip away, that can be divided up, and it would have to be re-encumbered in different, under different vendors.
Mm-hmm.
We can, close that PO, put it in the building line, and open it piece by piece for each of these projects.
Mm-hmm.
I think, we have that bulk of money. I'd
Right.
probably rather spend that money
Yep.
than tap into this year.
Mm-hmm. And it's designated to the chiller HVAC project, so
Right.
it makes sense to be
Right.
using it for that. Any concerns about doing that?
That thought.
Okay. So, so I think we need to have in our minutes where it says exactly what we're going to be doing with this PO, because that they will want to see that at town hall. So before I make a motion, I just want to make sure I'm on top of it. So you would need to close this PO, the Denron Hall Plumbing PO, and then create a PO for the cost of the 12 actuators,
Mhm.
which 360 at 12, you're saying 4,400.
He's thinking that the shipping is going to be less per item if we buy
Mhm.
these 12.
Right, but we should
So,
have like at least.
I think you estimate for the higher
Mhm,
shipping.
mhm. I see Janet has her calculator out, so
That's up to 44 is good.
up to 44. Okay. And then the rest of it will be put into the building line in the current budget. Is that?
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure I have the number on that one correct, which is it 15858502? Okay.
8502.
Okay. So then I'm going to make a motion that we close PO 222-31906, and we create a PO to FW Web for up to $4,400. And the remainder of the closed PO will go into our buildings line, which is 158502.
Second.
Molly, did you get all of that?
I think so.
Okay.
The Denron PO was 22231906.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. Yes, then I have the rest. I had $4,400 for the 12.
Yep.
Actuators. Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Any further questions for Yvette on doing that? Okay.
Second.
Robbie already beat you
Oh,
to it.
good.
Okay.
Yes, it was-
All those in favor?
It's all good.
Okay, great. 500. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you for that.
Sure.
We also received a contract, a 3-year contract for our sprinkler maintenance. And that I had to go back and look to see, did we already have a contract with anyone? And we don't. The last time their sprinklers were tested was last 2023 February. So it looked to me like everything in the contract of, what we wanted was in the contract, but I did write to the vendor and say, can you give me a price on this of just testing the entire system? And what does it entail if we do test the entire system at once? Because that was actually what was in my notes. That's what you
Wasn't there
wanted.
some discussion about replacing the sprinklers, or was that?
That was in the report from the test last year that the
Mhm.
sprinkler heads have to be replaced. But I don't have any information on that. It's just in the report. I don't have details on what does that really mean. How do we go about, who does it? How do we go
Mhm.
about doing it? You know,
Mhm.
how intrusive is this? So that's something I think what I'd like them to come do is come and test,
Mhm.
and not just sit on this contract, but I want them to come in and just test off the bat.
Sure.
So I'm waiting to hear back if they're
Okay.
able to do that for us.
Okay.
I'm waiting on that.
Any other questions about the building maintenance project list for Yvette? Okay. Do we want to just talk about the CIP while we're here?
Sure.
since-
So every year we get a letter requesting us to update our CIP, our capital improvement projects list, and that is from the Community Development Office. So I don't have the spreadsheet. They always send us like the current spreadsheet that has all of the town projects on it, and then we add our projects to that. But Janet and I met as kind of technically the building committee. So basically what we have, I would suggest we put in new projects being addressing the dark corners of the main floor in the adult collection. Another new project that's been on the project list for a while, but not included in a CIP yet, is a leak in the flat roof near the doghouse corner. Removing the old out of service tank in the mechanical room. That's something that Joint Loss has suggested we do. We can resubmit. The HVAC is still kind of an ongoing project, and I would just resubmit until it's closed. We can add these new pieces to it, the faulty valves and the mechanical ventilation. We have the library sidewalks. So whenever the town works on their improvement of sidewalks around the library or around the other town buildings, we would want to be included in that. The slate roof is already in a CIP that's happening now. The sprinklers has been an existing CIP, and new library has been an existing CIP. So I think we just add a couple of these new things that are in the project list and then keep the old ones that aren't closed yet.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
An elevator is off the CIP.
Elevator's off the CIP, and we had the frame of it was finished. I was emailing with Stanley Elevator today and talking with the department heads. They wanted to know what was a good day that they could come in and do the door part. And we're thinking of like August 31st. July 31st is a good day. It's the least, there's the least programming, and then August 7th. So July 31st or August 7th, 2 Wednesdays. So that's what I submitted back to them, and we can stay open. It's just that the elevator will not be accessible.
Okay.
So.
Great. Are there any other things for the CIP or questions for Yvette about that? Okay. Great. Thank you, Yvette.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to new business. We have a board opening. Jen Jobin is now a town council member, so her term goes for till 2026. Is that correct? Okay. And we did meet a candidate, so I would like to make a motion that the board nominate Aaron Clement to fill the empty seat. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? 500. So I will reach out to her and see if she will accept our nomination. And if she does, then the next step would be that I would let Paul McCallie know and he will bring it before the town council. So great. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Yvette put on here trustees and staffs NHLTA membership renewal. Yes.
I'm getting a reminder that it's time for me to renew my membership. These were all renewed at the same time, and when I go to renew it, your name is saying that you're the contact person for all of this. So
Okay.
how do you want to handle it? Because
Well,
I'm happy to renew it.
to renew for all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we scratch that from the budget this year?
I think we did, and that the trustees
did,
were going
yes.
to pay for that.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for that, Janet, or is that fine? We can just take it out of
We'll
trustee
just
funds. We'll take it out of trustee funds.
We'll take it out of trustee funds, but let's make a motion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that Yvette purchase our New Hampshire Library Trustee Association memberships for herself and the board, and that we take the fees out of the trustees funds, special funds.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, can I add Jen to this? Jen Stover?
Yes. Including Jen Stover.
I wait on the potentially new trustee?
I think that's a great idea. Okay. Okay. Any comments or questions about that? Okay. All those in favor? 500. All right. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Yvette. So next we have the 2024-2025 budget, general ledger, invoice manifest, and open POs.
I didn't get the invoice. Well, I did get the invoices. I didn't get the specific one that you wanted.
Okay.
With the incentive line. I checked Unifund and I pulled it up, which I wasn't able to print. But as far as I can see, yes, we were overspent by a couple $100. But I'd rather, I'd like to get the printout from Cindy because she's more fluent in Unifund. So that's one thing. The invoices I didn't reformat, and I think I talked to you about this, Janet, about if you had a preference.
Is this the library expenditure report? That one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
Okay. And then the general ledger is we're at the beginning. This is I'm sorry, this is the end of June and everything is
Right.
still still turning over, so
I compare what you send for the PO versus what's on the general ledger. And like everything checks out. Everything that I expected to check out checks out, except the 1-year subscription to Library IQ, but that went in July. So exactly. So what I expected to be there was there. So that was good.
But the library, that PO is actually from last year. They put
I knew
it
that.
in. Okay.
I think you mentioned it somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the your director's report. Did anybody have a chance to look at Library IQ? It's really cool. It is really cool. It is really
Said
cool.
the librarian.
It's really cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And I guess I just want to comment a couple things about the general ledger.
Okay.
So this is more for us going into budget season. Screen move. There we go. Electricity, gas, water, and there was another one. I guess it was just those three. We're all overspent. So Molly and I just attended a budgeting and finance conference this morning up at the NHLTA, sponsored by NHLTA. And for smaller libraries, they literally have to account for it. They don't get that number from the town. They figure it out. And I bring that up because if we had a tight budget like some of these smaller libraries, we would have been overspent. So going forward, I mean, I realize we got the number, but if we had a tighter, this is about $2,000, and that was taken from other sources in our budget. But yet we had no control over those numbers. So going forward, I just bring that up because maybe we up it a little bit, or we just bring it up to Paul Squared and say, hey, what are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
So my 2 cents with that, because when I saw that it was overspent, I was like, oh, no big deal. But then I went, wait a minute, these are our numbers. Like, we didn't put these numbers in. So all those numbers that are like that we get from the town, we shouldn't be overspent on.
And I know that Eversource has a significant proposed rate increase coming up as well.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing we learned at this is that is it telephone?
Mhm.
No, internet. Internet
Yeah.
is now going to be considered utility. So it's usually under phone. I think we put it under other outside services
Hmm.
as opposed to
Huh.
Okay.
he's a director. He's he was Sanborn and now he's Greenland. Yeah, Greenland director, and he was saying that internet is going to be a utility. I don't know how that changes things. I don't know. It did for the smaller libraries just because of how they account for things, but so
Yeah,
just
good.
it's a point of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, when we were doing the default, when the budget failed and we had to go to the default budget, we were looking at things down to like the 100 lines with hundreds and thousands, and like $2,000 could make a big difference if we end up in that kind of a situation
Yeah.
again. So that is a good thing to keep an eye on and to maybe adjust if we think that it's low for our needs. So, okay.
I mean, it's not too far away. It's like 6 weeks. We're going to
Yeah.
start thinking about the budget.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Any other questions, concerns, anything like that for Yvette?
Actually, not for Yvette, but so Yvette shared with us, I think it was us, I don't know if it just went to Deb and I, how much was encumbered, and we got a breakdown from Paul Calabria, in terms of where that came from, and all of it was to be expected, except there was an excess in the material line that wasn't anticipated. There was like 13,000 extra. So Jen Stover is totally on top of that. She's looking at why, because with her numbers and the town's numbers, that doesn't make sense. So, which is good, because we would want the library to spend that money. That's why it's there. So she's all over it. And
Okay, great. Keep us posted on what the outcome of that is.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to the year-end expenditures. Was there any questions or anything of note on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that we've purchased everything. Everything was encumbered, things have been purchased, things are coming in. So Dick came in and did all of the computer piece. So we're just crossing things off the list.
Great.
I like that you ordered these essentially early, like that the computers got done early, like, so even though says it's a year end, it was
Mhm.
more just like a late June.
Mhm.
So I like that.
All right. Policy review. Basically, there's just some policies you think that the library does not necessarily need anymore.
Yes, so this month I'm having you look at a proctoring and a tutoring policy. I didn't print them out because they're on the website. Proctoring, and Reggie and Stephanie worked to put a draft to, kind of combine these into one. And when I was kind of editing their draft, it just seemed that a lot of the content was redundant with our patron code of conduct, and also with the meeting room policy. The situation is, people come in to tutor and want to reserve the meeting room, but our meeting room policy says that it can be reserved by groups that are nonprofit. So someone who's tutoring is making money, they're not a nonprofit, and they couldn't prove that they're a nonprofit. So we don't let them reserve the meeting room. If it's empty, they can go in and do their work. So I didn't think we needed an extra policy anymore just to address tutors. Proctoring is a service that we offer maybe twice a year. And that's very similar to how you set up an appointment under book a librarian. You know, you just make an appointment and we'll help you with whatever your situation is. And a lot of times it's tech help. And I just proctored a student over the past maybe 2 weeks ago. So it was just we didn't need another extra policy for it. You know, that's, you know, when you're proctoring with someone, you have an appointment with a student and then you set another appointment for the exam. And we make it clear to them that I can't sit here and watch you, you know. And I make it clear to the professor, I can't sit there and watch you. I'll walk past, I'll check on them, I'll take their phone or whatever your guidelines are, but I don't think we need an extra policy.
Okay.
So,
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we sunset, I believe the word, the proctoring policy and the tutoring policy.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? 500. Thank you, Yvette.
Sure.
We don't need more policies, right? That's grants is the next item with Jen leaving and a vacancy right now on the board. I think we'll just leave that there, and you know, hopefully once we're fully up and running, we can address grants again. Okay, director's report.
all right. There are a couple of donations for you to consider accepting. We received a donation of $500 from the Merrimack Lions Club to be used to purchase snacks for the caring cupboard.
I will make a motion that we accept the $500 donation from the Merrimack Lions Club with thanks.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? 500. Thank you. That's very generous.
It's very generous. You wrote a very nice letter saying that this is an important program. Very nice. We also received a donation of $650 from the Friends to sponsor the summer reading program kickoff concert with Ben Rudnick and Friends.
I will make a motion that we accept the $650 donation from the Friends, again with thanks. Very generous of them.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? 500. Thank you.
I caught this in the donation, so I don't know if there are more, but okay. So we received $15.17 in anonymous donations. They were deposited in special on 6/28.
I'll make a motion that we accept the $15.17 in anonymous donations.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Great, thank you.
Okay, and then we did get a donation yesterday that I have a paper for. We received a donation of assorted wooden blocks, waffle blocks, Lincoln logs, and Duplos. It was an anonymous donation, and Kathy said that we can use this for in-house programming.
Okay, great. So we will, I'll make a motion that we accept the anonymous donation of blocks to be used in assorted toys, assorted building,
yeah.
assorted toys to be used in children's room programming. Okay, all those in favor? 500. Great, thank you.
Okay, thanks. I put the trust funds from last year and then this year, but Jen hasn't confirmed the last year's number for you yet, Janet.
True.
She's back, but she hasn't
she's- yeah,
gotten
so-
to it yet.
Yeah.
And then we'll be tracking, of course, when you give us, well, when we confirm that we have these funds, then we'll be able to track that this year. So as Deb said, we're investigating a product called Library IQ. This is a really nice product that is staff can use it to help them manage a collection. You know, a lot of times when you're managing a collection, you're working off of circulation numbers or condition, or, you know, you kind of try and gauge what patrons are checking out. This makes it very clear because it's all data driven. It takes a lot of the guesswork out. It doesn't take away the the intuition aspect from the trained staff, but it really makes it a lot easier. We can also map where our patrons live. That's really exciting, because then we can say, and we've talked about this for years, students who go to Mastrocola are close to the library, families live close to the library. Do they have the most library cards? How is our outreach to, Reed's Ferry and Thornton's Ferry, which are further away? And we've never been able to really capture that. I know, right?
That's so cool.
It's
Yeah,
very
like,
cool, and we're very
Definitely.
excited about this. And then you can kind of see, what's being checked out. Everyone's privacy is still totally protected, but we're seeing what's moving in a collection.
Yeah, there was like
Yes.
one area where it showed like things that were purchased but were like never checked out. And that's
Yeah.
like a really valuable thing that you can't get to otherwise. And so to be
Right.
able to see like, all right, so clearly we thought this was going to be something that was hitting with our patrons and it's not.
Mhm.
So we need to shift where our priorities of our spending is going. So it's really cool.
It's very
like-
cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm speaking to the GMILK staff about is, will this work with Aspen? And I'm waiting on the vendor to send me names of other clients that use the same, Polaris product, Aspen, but not with this other piece called Vega, because we don't have Vega. And we went with this product that works with Polaris and not the Vega product that works with the Polaris. I sent the information to the JMilk staff so they can also look at it and trial it the same way you are. No one else in our consortium has it. He doesn't think it's going to be a problem, but the vendor said, we can put in the contract, you can have, 2 months free. If it doesn't work, then we won't pay
Good.
for it. We'll have a refund
Excellent.
for it.
Nice.
So it seems like everything is okay. Waiting to hear back from Kevin because I just sent the login information to him, but he knows about it. He is on the different chat boards about Aspen and things, other products that work with Aspen, and he's like, I'm hearing good things about this. And this is something the work in terms of mapping who's using the library in your town and how they're using the library in your town. That's something that JMOX has wanted to do. So it'll just be amazing. So
Um,
working on that.
That's fantastic. I like the idea. It's a data point, it's a tool. But one, it, like you said, it takes the guesswork out of the whole, like, what do our patrons, not just Merrimack patrons, but you can also see like what the consortium
Yeah.
is taking out of Merrimack.
Oh, yeah.
I also think about that with respect to any sort of advertising or outreach. If there's a
Mhm.
place within Merrimack that needs a little bit of an extra push to say, hey, don't forget about the library,
Absolutely.
you can target just one area. Like, that's nice.
Feels like it's directly related to our goals, tailoring the collection towards the town and
Yeah.
building it,
Yeah.
outreach, like several of the long-term goals.
And
Yeah.
maybe the strategic plan
Yeah.
with like some of that
Mhm.
future steps.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's been exciting.
It's nice.
I don't know if I highlighted anything else. I didn't highlight anything else. So if you have questions about something else, you can. We're very busy. Summer reading. Very busy. Programs are well attended. People are in the library every day, and I don't think it's just because the air conditioning.
I was gonna say it's
don't think
hot.
No,
but
because no.
summer reading.
It's people are finding the library. They're renewing their library cards. They're signing up for library cards, and it's great.
Great.
Yeah.
It's lovely to hear.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks, Yvette.
Sure.
Treasurer's report.
Okay, treasurer's report. So, from our balance sheet, at the end of June, we started our fines with $4,521.61. And we ended with $4,376.47. And with our special account. We began the month with $51,787.17, and we ended the month with $52,094.33. So that's our month. And then I have a couple other things to bring up. On July 7th, I sent an email to the trustees of trust funds requesting our disbursement from our trust funds. As Yvette pointed out in her director's report, we have $4,000 coming from the Patterson Lawrence Carroll Trust, and we have $2,000 coming from the Roxana Lawrence Trust. And that will be broken up as it should be. And then I actually have a question for you, Yvette. So for the end of the fiscal year, I sent the breakdown of that special line 38 to Paul Calabria, and he hasn't gotten back to me, so I assume that was what he needed. But I typically send the P&L of the whole year, and that's usually for the audit. In the past, they've reached out and said, "Hey, would you send this?" And I thought about it today, and so I have it on my list. I can look back in past emails to see when that usually goes out.
I just got an email yesterday from the auditor, and they just sent me, "Can you go over the controls?"
Okay.
So I gave them to Alyssa. We went over those. There's just a couple of little things that we've changed in terms
Okay.
of who's banking, but otherwise all of our controls are the same. So I don't usually hear. I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
heard for any reports.
Okay.
So
And I usually get something asking me to write about what we do for controls, and I haven't received anything yet.
Okay.
So again, from our meeting that we had, the guy talked about auditors, and essentially he goes, the auditor does it in all of the 240 libraries in New Hampshire. And he said, they're not nitpicking where you spent your money, they're nitpicking your controls. So it's timely that you say that. He's like, it's all about your controls. What's your process? And he's like, that's what they want to know. So I was like, okay. I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah. That's it.
The trust fund amounts are documented in minutes specifically.
They are. When we voted, we put them in, but I can tell you what they are again.
Because I have 4,000 for Carol Patterson. Is there another
It's
name?
Patterson Lawrence Carroll, PLC. You can put PLC.
Okay, and 2,000 from.
Roxana Lawrence. Thank you. And in the budget, you can see the breakdown, but I can give it to you if you're interested. Okay. That's
Okay,
it.
great. Thanks, Janet. Any questions for Janet? Okay, we'll move on to acceptance of minutes. We have two. The first one is the June 18th, 2024 public meeting minutes. In attendance was me, Janet, and Molly. So any questions or corrections to those? Okay, so I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes. All those in favor? All those opposed and abstaining? Great, 302, thank you. And then we also had non-public meeting minutes from the same day. And, any corrections or changes to those? No? Okay, all those in favor? I'm sorry, I'll make a motion. I should make a motion first. I'll
Motion.
make a motion that we accept those non-public minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed and abstaining? Great, 302. Thank you. Okay, thanks, Molly, for getting those to us. Building Exploratory Committee, nothing. Friends of the Library had their book sale. How was that?
it's very good.
It was great, says Janet.
Yes, I think she had pre-sale was 1,083. So the Friday pre-sale, with 700 of that was from 2 booksellers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is like $1 a book for adult books. Saturday, they took in 1,237.50. So for the total was $2,320.50.
Great.
And then memberships, they took in $615. It was their annual meeting.
Oh, good.
And then $65 in donated funds.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Great. Thank you. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund has not met, but they'll be meeting next week. Town Center Committee, we don't have any updates for that. Okay. So our Library Trustee Committee updates, personnel, anything for us?
Yes. So the library director goals document should be set. Thank you, Janet, for sending over those kind of last specific items. Ruth Marie, do you have that most recent document that has the goals that you might be able to add Janet's list to in the coming couple of weeks, so that's finalized? Thank you. And then the next up that we've mentioned is the review of the library director job description, which I did start and sent to Ruth Marie and Yvette. If you guys get a chance to take a look, is August 1st okay? To send back any feedback on the job description, and that way we can get that out then to the group for hopefully the August meeting, just to
Great.
put that forward. I think that's the update.
Wonderful. Thank you. That job description change has been a long time coming, so that'll be nice to have it actually reflect what the director's job looks like these days.
Yeah, I'm sure
so.
there's probably things that need to be added.
Mhm.
I mostly removed duplicate
Mhm.
stuff in my red line draft, so I, mark it up as you like. I guess is my thought, because I'm sure there's room to improve.
Along those same lines, the Finance Committee met. Janet and I met. We looked at the the comparators, I guess the comparators. So of the town councils looking at the salary structure, Paul McCallie is working on, and we used the same towns in our comparison. That was the sheet that Yvette sent to us. Janet and I went through each category of position at the library, looked at our current range, looked like what those ranges were. Obviously those are from a few years ago, but tried to take everything into account. Came up with a very loose sort of structure of 10 steps. And then Janet also went through and sort of roughly placed people just to get an idea of where it would be. And we thought our next step would be to sit down with Yvette to look at that, to look at like where staff members fall, to talk about our rationale and that sort of thing. And then once we sort of have something in, let's just say a still penciled, but a darker pencil, we will bring it to you for your, to discuss. I think our hope is to get this really know what we want to do before the budget even comes our way. So we're aware. And then part of that would also be probably talking with the staff once we vote on something to let them know what our intentions are, so that we can keep them in the loop as well. And we can tell you more about that. We can have a non-public session since we'll be discussing specific employees, and we can look at that all together. But I think it was interesting, and we thought it was going to be like really straightforward, and then of course it's not. So we went back and forth and looking at different things, and probably still have some questions. But
we left it in terms of, it's like, let's start.
Right,
Just,
like
get something
exactly,
on paper
exactly.
and start there, and then as we go through it, it was like, all right, we have to do something else here, or we need to add something there, or this doesn't work. But it was like, just do something.
Along the same lines of the job description, right? Let's just get something started, and then we can move on that. So I'm feeling really good that we are have a working document anyways, and we'll reach out to you, Yvette, and try to come up with a time where we can sit down and go over it with you. So, and building committee, it sounds like you guys met and told us a little bit about.
Yvette pretty much brought up everything, but we went over the CIPs, we went over that building list, sprinklers, pretty much everything that she brought up, the valves, the actuators, reaching out to the mechanical, it's a mechanical contractor. Yeah. So anything else? I think that's it.
Great.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're on to July's action items. The first one I have is that I will reach out to Erin. I will give her a call tomorrow and see if she would like to accept our nomination and then proceed from there. Yvette is going to take care of canceling the PO, but you'll need the minutes for that. So Molly, whenever the minutes are done, you send them to her. Like,
Yes.
it's all good. So that's in there. What else?
We're gonna reach out to Deb Hoadley, right?
Deb, I did reach out to her. I will follow up. Thank you. You'll follow and get some information on that. But I think that's, and Janet and I will set up a meeting with Yvette to look at the salary schedule as it stands.
Can I add one for you?
Of course.
Can you come by and sign the evaluations for the staff?
Yep. I will go and sign the evaluations for the staff.
Thank you.
Okay.
And also yes, the goals document, Ruth Marie will circulate to the trustees group, and the job description feedback to Molly for August 1st.
Great.
Thank you.
And of course, anything else? All right, then upcoming events. Our next trustee meeting is not on July 16th. It'll be on the third Tuesday of August. I'm not sure.
20th.
Thank you. On August 20th at 7 p.m. I don't even want to think about that. That makes it sound like summer is really just moving quickly. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund Committee, their next meeting is this Monday, July 22nd at 5 p.m. in the Lowell Room. The Friends of the Library will meet again August 26th at 7 p.m. in the Director's Office. Is there anything else? Any comments from the board?
A question.
Yeah.
Maybe not a comment, but is there existing already a Library Board of Trustees orientation checklist? And or could I/we work to create one?
Yes.
Just a question around,
Yeah.
how do we get people onboarded and
Mhm.
I think we have something.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it fell through the cracks with you guys, that we just kind of like, if it was just, I don't know. Do you feel like there's things that you're finding out that you wish you had known sooner?
When are we doing a retreat?
I feel
I
like
think we did that. We were thinking like September, because once the summer, yeah, we didn't set a date for it.
I
we-
think there just might be things, at least from my perspective, would be nice to see written,
Yep.
as opposed to trying to capture
Mm-hmm.
the entirety of, and then remember for the next time and the next time and the next time.
Yeah.
That's my personal thought, but
That's a great idea.
If
It helps
it's-
with continuity and that sort of thing. So,
And you're new enough that it's like asking me is not worth it because it's been too long. But asking you, it's more like, oh, I wished I had known, whatever.
yeah.
Same with you. It's like,
so, well, is there something?
There is.
There is.
yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. I was going to say that. Okay, there was a time that, yeah. But the fact that you're not sure and we don't know where,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Was
So
it,
who
like-
might have that?
Was it fuzzy?
Well, Janet and I will look. We will see. One of us probably
We'll find
has it.
something.
We'll find it. At least, again, sort of like everything else, it could be a starting place that we can at least start with that.
Yeah.
So I will put on the action items that we will search for orientation.
There could be something also on the NHLTA and
Well, there's the NHLTA manual, and it's available digitally on their website. I have printed out hard copies and put them in a binder for folks if they want. This board has its own supplements to that
Yep.
manual that probably could be reviewed.
should be reviewed.
Because you've done so many orientations now, and twice a year you've done orientations or retreats,
Mhm.
and you've gone over the financial piece, and you've gone over, board relations and responsibilities and stuff. So, it exists. It's there.
Yes, we need to
Okay.
do that. We should
Okay.
have something in place, and
Yeah.
especially if we're bringing another trustee on,
Yeah.
it's a good time to make sure that's there. But I think in the past we had met the trustees met, maybe not last year, but we did do a September meeting, and it was like a Saturday morning at 8, and it was just like an hour or two where we went over everything and sort of regrouped, sort of like, you know, how the school year's beginning. It's kind of like, even though it's not the start of the year, September feels like the beginning of the year with
Yeah.
the, and all that sort of thing. So we could talk about that in August too, setting up a time for that in September. I think it's hard to even, for me personally, to even think about what's happening in September right now. I don't know if other people have a
We'd like
clearer,
it to be farther
clear
away.
picture.
Yeah, that's it.
So, but thank you for bringing
Okay.
that to our attention, and we should have that, like, at least we have it as an action item now, so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. So,
Okay.
thank you, Molly.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else? Okay, it is 7:50, or no, it is not. It's 8:50. No, it's 7:50.
7:50.
Okay, I was like, there's no way it can really be 7:50. It is 7:50. I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? 500. Okay, thank you, everybody. Wow, I was like, no, that clock is wrong. There's no